Jackson the MVP after this win against the 49ers?
You know what, guys? I don't think he is. So, I got his stats listed up here. He's got about 2,500 yards with 25 TDs and 5 interceptions, which I don't have his rushing stats down. But personally, I think if we're talking most valuable player is somebody who helps their team win, and he's the most valuable to their team. The most valuable isn't the best player. And even if we're talking best player, Russell Wilson's not too far behind, with not including last night's game. He has, well, last night's game, if you include that, he's got over 3,000 yards. He has 26 touchdowns, and he only has 4 picks. So it's 1 less interception. That's another touchdown, and he's got like 300 more yards. And think about it this way: you take Lamar Jackson off the Ravens, they would be way better than Russell Wilson without the Seahawks without Russell Wilson.
Well, you said Lamar Jackson is the most valuable to the team, not just the best player, but Russell Wilson is the best player on the Seahawks too.
Yes, but I'm talking.
Lamar Jackson, first in total touchdowns, tied for first in passing touchdowns. What about that?
Well, he's behind in passing touchdowns because of last night's game, because of Russell Wilson, how he played. And when I meant by best player, it's not best player in the NFL. Yes, they're both best players on their respective teams, but MVP doesn't go by best player in the league. Because if it went by best player in the league, Patrick Mahomes would win every year.
Okay, what about Christian McCaffrey? He has 1,167 yards, 12 touchdowns, averages 5 yards per carry, and is easily carrying. He easily got all the 5 wins for the team, easily.
Correct. But when was the last time you saw a running back win MVP? That would have been Adrian Peterson's season, and he had over 2,000 yards. He had over 6 yards a carry. He was absolutely unstoppable. Otherwise, running backs don't win the MVP award. That's a quarterback-heavy award.
Okay, but who's helping Christian McCaffrey?
Nobody.
Kyle Allen?
No, their defense. They're
Actually,
actually
their wide receivers?
their defense. They're number 1 in sacks. They get the ball right back to him.
Okay.
So he can't be the MVP. That it's a quarterback heavy. If I was to tell you my three MVP finalists, it would be Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson.
In that order.
Not in that order. Russell Wilson is the number 1 vote right now. He has more yards, he has more touchdowns, he has less interceptions, and if you take them both off their teams, the Seahawks would be worse than the Ravens.
I agree with that.
Thank you. Next, please.
Is Tom Brady's career coming to an end after the loss against the Titans?
You know, I really don't feel like he is. I mean, he's obviously the GOAT. He has 6 rings and 9 tries, and he's 42 years old. You got to cut him some slack. And look at his team. He doesn't have anybody. James White is the second leading receiver on his team. If he could have anybody to throw the ball to, he would be better. And his completion percentage and his QBR has not gone down. His completion percentage over the past 10 years has been above 60%. Right now he's sitting at 62. I don't think he's washed up quite yet. He's close, but not yet.
I mean, all the past years, he's made all of his teammates better, and he's not doing that anymore.
Well, who does he have to make better?
It's mostly their defense that is bringing them to the record now.
Right, but who's on the offense is what I'm saying. Who does he have for weapons?
Well, he had weapons until his team decided to cut him.
Well, we're not going to go into that because that is very allegational. But there's nobody on his team. Behind Edelman, behind James White, they have who? Philip Dorsett?
Yeah, he's good.
No, he's never been good. Mohamed Sanu was a wide receiver 3 on the Falcons, who aren't any good, and that's our next subject. They aren't any good.
They have Julio Jones, though.
And Calvin Ridley, he was worse than Calvin Ridley. And Philip Dorsett, nobody heard of him until he got to the Patriots. So you can't tell me Tom Brady didn't make him better because nobody heard of Philip Dorsett until he came to the Patriots. Anything to say, Tristan?
No, he has a couple more years left. Well, the past couple of years, he's had 4,400 yards, and he has 3,200 yards this season. So he's on the road to again 44,000 yards again.
Exactly. I feel like in a couple of years he'd be washed, but right now I think they can stick around. I'm not saying they win the Super Bowl, but I think he can stick around for a couple of years.
Okay, what's wrong with the Falcons?
Honestly, I can't tell you. They have a stacked roster. They have a first ballot Hall of Fame quarterback, and this year his numbers aren't too bad. He's got 3,200 yards with 20 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. 12 interceptions is quite a lot. But who does he have in the backfield? Devontae Freeman's always injured. Tevin Coleman left. And I don't know who's back there now. Jerick McKinnon, I think, has another torn ACL like he did last year. and Julio Jones can be double covered, and Calvin Ridley's only a second-year player. So their offense is shaky, and their defense, I don't know what's going on with them either. Some weeks they show up, some weeks they don't. They have decent players, Deion Jones, and they have Keanu Neal. Keanu Neal, I believe, just went down with an Achilles tear, though. I couldn't tell you. I feel like it's the coach's problem. Since they went to the Super Bowl in, was it 2016? Correct me if I'm wrong. Once they went there and they blew that 28-3 lead, they never changed coaches, and they haven't had a winning season since. They're just not there.
I agree. I definitely would think it's the coaching problem. Dan Quinn needs to be taken out pretty soon. Their defense has been stepping up. They sacked the quarterback, or they sacked Kyle Allen 5 times when they played the Panthers. And they definitely have a pretty good offense with Matt Ryan. Devontae Freeman, if he would stay healthy, they could probably do something with him. And they have top 5 wide receiver of all time. And yeah.
Okay. Is Cam Newton going to keep his job?
I feel like he is. When Cam Newton first went down this year, he hasn't been healthy for a couple of years, but this year when he first went down and he missed those 5 games, and Kyle Allen came in and stepped up, really, if you look at it, their defense was the main reason. They were first in sacks in the whole league, and they don't run a blitz defense. So their defensive line was destroying everybody and getting the ball back to who you said was an MVP candidate, Christian McCaffrey. And maybe he is, but he's not top 3 in mine, but we'll move on from that. Kyle Allen, in these 10 games, or whatever Cam Newton went down, he only has 2,400 yards, 15 TDs, and 10 interceptions. Now, I feel like Cam Newton's better. He's going to stay because those are terrible stats. Cam Newton, in his last season that he played, he had 3,300 yards, 24 TDs, 13 interceptions. So as you can see, Kyle Allen's not any better. Maybe he's younger, but that doesn't mean he's better. Cam Newton can't stay healthy. I feel like he needs a new home, but I feel like if the Panthers are smart with it, they'll keep Cam Newton around simply, even if he's just a seller. Like, people are going to come to the games to watch Cam Newton. They're not going to come to watch Kyle Allen. Cam Newton's a highlight reel. This is going to fill the stands.
I do not think Cam Newton will stay with the Carolina Panthers. When Kyle Allen stepped in, all they ever asked him to do is stand in the pocket and throw short passes. They never asked Cam Newton to do that. They always wanted him to run, have play action passes, and if they wanted him to just stay in the pocket, they would have had Cam Newton do that. So they're having Kyle Allen do that. I think Cam Newton will be going to the Bears. Mitchell Trubisky obviously isn't going to work out. He's not very good. And they have Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Allen. They could probably get a couple wide receivers. I think they'll be pretty good in the coming years.
About him going to the Bears, Mitchell Trubisky this year has a better QB rating than Tom Brady.
Yeah, and we're still losing.
So that's Mitchell Trubisky's fault?
Yes,
Now how are the Patriots winning?
their defense.
And the Bears defense is pretty good too.
Yeah, the Bears defense has not been how it was last year. Last year they dominated.
That's not Mitchell Trubisky's fault then. Mitchell Trubisky will stay with the Bears.
All right.
I feel like Mitchell Trubisky will not stay with the Bears. And here's my reason. He's a second-year player, but there are NFC executives who came out and they stated that he doesn't know how to make basic reads. And I just pulled up his stats here. Compared to what I told you, like Matt Ryan with 3,000 yards, and we got even Kyle Allen with 15 TDs. Mitchell Trubisky only has 2,000 yards this year, 13 touchdowns, and 7 interceptions. You can't tell me that's good. I don't care if you're a 10-year veteran or you're a 2-year player. That's not good. Do I think they're going to move on from him and trade for Cam Newton? No, because the Bears don't have any picks. I feel like a Teddy Bridgewater would be a better signing for them, but that's what I feel like will happen.
On to college football. Is Ohio State the best team in college football right now?
Right now, I feel like Ohio State is. You can make quite the argument for LSU, but I feel like Ohio State, they're just stacked across the board. They have the best defensive player in the country in Chase Young, who has 16 and a half sacks in 10 games. They played 12, but he was suspended for 2, as you know, or else he would be a Heisman candidate. They also have a Heisman finalist in Justin Fields with 2,600 yards, with 37 TDs and only 1 interception. Now, that's pretty good. He's pretty accurate. Now, I don't have his rushing stats. I know he's a mobile quarterback, but I have no idea what his rushing stats are. And then they got arguably the second best running back in the nation, and J.K. Dobbins, who on 250 attempts has 1,600 yards and 19 total touchdowns, and that's not including his receiving. I feel like LSU got the firepower in offense because Joe Burrow's stats, he has 4,300 yards, 44 TDs, and 6 picks. Those are incredible numbers, but I feel like overall, Ohio State's just more well balanced. LSU is like the Chiefs of college. They're going to put a bunch of points up, but they're not going to play the defense like Ohio State. Ohio State's like you could compare them to a Patriots. They're a system, they're a facility that's going to win, and then LSU is just like the Chiefs, and they're just going to put up a bunch of points on the board, and they're going to hope for a win. Which they do. Jordan Burrow could win a Heisman, but I just feel like overall Ohio State's better.
Yeah, I agree with that. They have a top 5 quarterback. He's playing amazing. They have probably the second best running back with J.K. Dobbins behind Wisconsin's running back. Yeah, Chase Young's carrying it up. Yeah, Ohio State's probably the best team in the league.
I don't have any information about them, but all I know is that that's 3 players out of 22 players on the field. 3 of their best players out of 22.
3 playmakers, because in a football game,
I'm pretty sure you need 22 players to be good.
you do need 22 players to be good, but you can easily have a playmaker and win a lot of games. Because Ohio State's a D1, a humongous college. You know they will get the best O-line recruits, the best D-line recruits, the best linebacker recruits. It's just the fact that they have 3 of the best players in the nation that make plays.
They have the best DN in the nation, then you run on the opposite side of them.
Okay, but then guess who comes back on the field? Justin Fields and J.K. Dobbins. Who's going to stop them? It's like
LSU's defense?
LSU doesn't
What do
have
you think?
LSU doesn't have a defense.
It's like the Ravens of the NFL. You got a mobile quarterback with a pretty good running back, and they can't be stopped. Yeah, everybody says the Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. Why can't Ohio State win the national championship? Because they got the same system. I'm not comparing Justin Fields to Lamar Jackson, but I'm saying they got the same type of strategy.
And Ohio State's wide receivers, Chris Olave, he has 41 receptions, 705 yards, and the second wide receiver, 44 receptions for 486 yards. They have solid wide receivers.
Solid receivers. I feel like they got some first round talent in a wide receiver. Maybe second.
LSU has a really good quarterback who could go number 1. Probably will not go number 1, but and then they have 2 great wide receivers that could easily go top 5.
Right. Before we go on to that, since you mentioned that, before we move on to the next subject, do you think Joe Burrow goes number 1? I don't think he does. The Bengals have the number. Will probably have the number 1 pick. It depends. The Bengals get it. Redskins get it. Redskins have Dwayne Haskins. If they get it, I don't think he goes number 1. Bengals, possibly. What do you think?
Yeah, I think if the Bengals get it, I'm guessing they don't want to stick with the redhead, so they'll probably get Joe Burrow. But if somebody else gets it, maybe Miami, but they're starting to pull some wins out. I don't know where from, but yeah, the Redskins will not draft a quarterback. Dwayne Haskins.
Right.
When the other team gets it, they might choose the guys that you guys favor. Chase Young.
Chase Young. You're
You're
correct.
gonna choose Chase Young.
Well, yeah, Redskins. What if they get it? They have Dwayne Haskins. They already have a star wide receiver, Terry McLaurin. And last year, they in the late first.
Bengals are on 11.
They are.
They're not gonna.
They
they're gonna
won.
get it.
They won.
No, they won. They're 1-10 now, I think, right?
And the Redskins are 2. And
They're 2-9. Yeah. Yeah. So if the Redskins get it, they already have their QB wide receiver duo, and they drafted Montez Sweat late in the first round last year. They're gonna pick somebody to go across from him. But Bengals, you're right. They're not gonna stick with the Red Rocket and Andy Dalton anymore. So they're gonna pick Joe Burrow, and if the Dolphins get it, I don't know where they're gonna go. Maybe O-line because they don't have anything. And they're not gonna draft a quarterback just to get him killed back there behind that terrible O-line.
Okay. Should Auburn and Utah be considered for the top 4?
No, I don't think they should. Simply because you look at the top 4 in college football right now is absolutely stacked. Ohio State and LSU are pretty much concrete solid in there. You really can't make an argument to take them out for Utah or who did you say, Utah and
Auburn.
Auburn? No, you can't make that argument. Now Clemson and and that's our next subject. Clemson is a very experienced team with arguably one of the best quarterbacks in the nation. I don't think you take them out. And Georgia is the one you can make an exception for, but I feel like Georgia's also got the experience. I feel like they won't take them out, and they'll go far in the playoffs.
I do not think Auburn will make the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
They beat
Alabama.
Alabama. That's they beat a couple other teams, but I do not think they will make the playoffs. But Utah definitely has a chance, depending on if they win in their Pac-12 or whatever they're in. They got a really good quarterback in Tyler Huntley. He's amazing. He can run the ball. Yeah, they beat USC. That's a quality win.
Can you tell me a top 18 they beat though?
I don't think they played the top 18.
I don't think they can.
Well, I think they play Oregon, but
Oregon.
and they're ranked.
Oregon, I don't think is even in the top 10 anymore.
They're ranked though.
They're ranked. I think they're like 13. I don't think they compete with the top 10.
I think out of Auburn, Utah definitely has the best chance.
Auburn definitely has.
Why?
Just beat Alabama.
Alabama doesn't have 2 anymore. They don't have a
So,
quarterback.
that's one player.
Yeah, that's one player
They're
that
still
carries
top,
the team.
what rank are they still?
They are. I don't know if they're top 10 anymore. They were 5 before this loss.
I mean, if you make it to Alabama and you're a quarterback and you get a full ride scholarship, you gotta be pretty good.
Yeah, Tua was going to be the #1 draft pick, and he got injured. That's pretty much one of the best players. All right, let's move on then.
Is Clemson underrated?
I really think they are. I really feel like I think people are sleeping on them. I think they could easily win the national championship. Now, I haven't watched very many Clemson games. Nobody has because they haven't been talked about. But think about it. Dabo Swinney's been there for how long? 10 years? I know he's won 3 national championships. And Trevor Lawrence, he's not having a bad year. I mean, he's not a Heisman finalist, but he's got 2,800 yards with 30 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. And they're still undefeated. I feel like it's almost the same team as last year, give or take a few, and they won the national championship last year, so why can't they do it again?
I think Clemson's. I don't know. I think Clemson's just a good third pick or 3rd seed. They beat Auburn. They beat a decent. Who they beat? A decent Texas A&M team. And yeah, I think they got that guy with the long hair at quarterback, and he can sling it down the field.
Pretty boy Trevor Lawrence, that's right.
Yep.
Anything you guys say on that, Trevor?
Okay. On to the NBA. Who is the MVP of the NBA right now?
All right, now.
Giannis, no discussion.
No, that's blasphemy. You let me talk. I didn't interrupt you. You don't interrupt me,
You
sir.
start every time.
Listen,
You start every time.
that's because
That's good boy.
because
You got coffee dipping your liver?
that's the way this rolls. Anyway, so I feel like LeBron James is the MVP of the league right now. Here's why. You take Giannis off the Bucks. I'll admit
Oh my
they.
God, it's the same exact case as you do with.
Sir, I didn't interrupt you. Don't interrupt me, please.
You take Giannis off the Bucks.
If you take the Giannis, now listen, sir. If you take Giannis off the Bucks would be worse than the Lakers without LeBron because they have Anthony Davis. That's correct. I'll admit the Lakers roster is better. But all around, you can't convince me that Giannis is better than LeBron. Points per game?
Giannis.
Possibly, because LeBron has to share the ball with another top 10 player in the league. Giannis does not. Giannis doesn't have anybody. So he's going to score more points. Their rebounds are about the same, which shouldn't be a thing. Giannis is 7 feet tall, and LeBron is 6'8". And LeBron still gets about the same rebounds. I don't think that makes Giannis better than him. An assist, it's not even close. LeBron's like 11 assists right now, and Giannis is, I don't know, you probably have the stats, but I know LeBron James has 10.7 assists a game right now. Go ahead.
Luka Magic. That's where it's at. Luka is easily, to me, the best player in the NBA. He has to share the court with a unicorn that runs up and down the court. Giannis is just a cheat code. Like, he's like 7 feet tall. Who's gonna guard him? Like,
Exactly.
Karl Anthony Towns? Who's gonna guard Luka though? LeBron obviously just tried, and that did not work out. Luka averages 30 points a game, almost 10 rebounds a game, and 9.6 assists a game. And like, nobody would have thought that Dallas Mavericks will be 13-6. Luka is completely carrying their team. LeBron has Anthony Davis. Giannis is just the cheat code. Karl Anthony Towns, he's carrying his team to a positive record. He could be considered, but he will not win the MVP. And yeah,
Can you tell me that they're going to keep this up through an 82-game season? Because we're only 9 weeks into a season. He can put up those numbers in the first month. We've seen it in many years past. It's who's in the West? Yeah, who's in the Western Conference this year? I mean, yeah, they're
the
stacked.
Lakers,
They're stacked at the top, yes. But once you get out of
the
those,
Clippers.
once you get out of those top 4, out of the Lakers, the Clippers, the Rockets, who else is in that Western Conference? No, Rockets are
No, I
Western.
think it's the Raptors.
No. Else is in that conference? So they're going to be that good. They're
The
gonna be-
Nuggets.
Okay, out of the top 4, there's nobody.
So looking up stats. Should already have them.
Here, I get the facts, buddy.
Spurs are
The
terrible.
Jazz are pretty good. They have Donovan Mitchell.
And Mike Conley. No, they're not. You're comparing them to 2 of the greatest international young players we have ever seen. In Kristaps and Luka. I'll admit they're the greatest, but
Luka is the greatest.
How do you think the Bucks are that good?
how the
The
Bucks?
Bucks have the same exact record as the 2 of the best.
Because the West is really top heavy, and who's in the East? There's nobody in the
Raptors, they're
Celtics, 76ers.
The Celtics,
76ers that just beat.
There's literally 2 teams
went
in
to
the
Eastern Conference
East.
Final.
There's 3 good teams in the East, and that's it.
it's the Bucks, Raptors, Heat, Celtics.
And we're the best.
No.
Celtics are, I don't even know.
You can't tell me the Heat are good with just Jimmy Butler running their team. They will not make it through the season.
Rookie Tyler Hero.
Tyler Hero, moderator, he's a rookie. What?
Dragic.
Dragic. Who's Dragic? Goran Dragic? He's like
Kendrick
30.
Nunn, the one that's leading the rookies in scoring behind John Morant.
Okay, what about, what was his name?
Okay, when the Heat get to the playoffs, what are the Heat gonna do?
Exactly.
They have one guy that like
They're gonna go
probably
far.
has
There's
mental
no one in the
issues.
Eastern Conference. They're gonna go far.
Other than their top 3, and if you branch the top 3 out throughout the playoff bracket, they can't go that far. They'll probably play one of them first round, and out they go. Jimmy Butler can't carry him that far, and Kendrick Nunn's an undrafted rookie. He's undrafted for a reason. We've seen rookie sensations blow up like this for a few weeks. Anyway, we're running out of time, and we're gonna have to speed up the show here.
Down to the NCAAM. Is the year the least intriguing year in the past decade?
Honestly, I haven't watched a game of college basketball yet, and let me ask you this: who watches college basketball in November? College basketball is all about March Madness. That's when you know the players. And there's another reason. I'm sure there's people that go out there and watch us that wouldn't make profit. But another reason is the NCAA in general is just not intriguing. College football, people watch right now because it's almost the end of the season. They want to see playoffs. But if it wasn't, who would watch it? Because the NCAA and their rules they're not right, and that's our next subject, but we'll leave that to that. I just don't think anybody watches it in November.
I don't know if it's not the least intriguing in the past decade, but coming off last year, when you had Zion, RJ, John Morant, Texas Tech had a run, and Michigan State probably has one of the best point guards right now, and North Carolina with Kobe White last year. It's hard to make everything intriguing when you don't know who's the number 1 seed, when you have Duke has Trae Young, that's about it, and all the other teams,
Trae Young's in the NBA.
not Trae Jones.
Trae Jones there. You go.
Yeah, Trae Jones.
Well, it doesn't help. It doesn't help that the top prospects are not going overseas with these NCAA rules. Where I'll just jump in right subject unless you have anything to add to that. Okay, the next subject is.
Should James Wiseman not have been suspended and fined?
And see, there's one of the reasons that players like top prospects like LaMelo Ball, like R.J. Hampton is his name if I'm not wrong.
Cole Anthony.
Cole Anthony went to UNC, but R.J. Hampton and LaMelo Ball, they both went overseas simply because of these rules that the NCAA has with the James Wiseman situation. Now, some people, I see where the rule comes from, but it just doesn't make any sense. So, I don't know if you guys know the story, but Penny Hardaway gave James Wiseman's family money to move to Memphis before Penny Hardaway became the coach so that they could see him play. That's just a generous human being. Well, then Penny Hardaway became the coach, and then it's the coach giving players money, just gets the rules, and I understand that. It's just, I don't feel like that should be a rule, and that's why they're losing top prospects, and that's why ratings are down.
Yeah, I agree with that. James Wiseman should be playing in college basketball right now. NCAA is losing players. The NBA is talking about lowering the age that you can get drafted to 18, and not everybody will be going to the college basketball anymore because people don't want to play for them. And I just think the NCAA needs to come up with better rules. Like they find somebody that can barely get a house, and they find them for being able to get a house and play basketball and go to college. But I guess they can't do that.
Yeah, I feel like James Wiseman should be playing at the moment.
Yes, I agree.
Okay. What will Conor McGregor year look like?
Okay, so we're switching over to fighting. So I don't watch much fighting, but all I know is that he's lost his last 3 matches, and one of them was to the famous Nate Diaz, and one of them was. So the Floyd Mayweather loss, I'm not even going to include that into our segment because it's boxing. He's a UFC fighter. So I would understand why he lost that. Floyd Mayweather, you can make an argument, is one of the greatest boxers of all time, if it's not for the great Ali. But Conor McGregor, his last 2 fights before that were against Nate Diaz, who is a legend, and then there's somebody else, and he lost those 3. So can you name a time he beat a good fighter? I feel like he'll have a terrible year if he can't compete with good fighters.
He beat Nate Diaz in one of his fights. They had 2 fights, and Nate Diaz won the first one, but it was on short notice. And then they had a rematch, and Conor McGregor beat him. And then he lost to Khabib, and then they got suspended because Khabib's an idiot. And for this year, I think Conor McGregor has a fight coming up against Donald Cerrone on January 28th. Assuming Conor McGregor wins that, he would fight either Jorge Masvidal, who fights Nick Diaz, or fight Nate Diaz in the summer. And assuming Conor McGregor wins that fight, he would end up fighting Khabib at the end of 2020.
I think he could win this next January fight, but I don't see him getting past Nick Diaz, maybe Nate Diaz. I don't think he gets past Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is one of the greatest UFC fighters ever stuck in the octagon. And then Khabib is one of the. What are you doing?
We have
Shows
to
up
go.
time